How's it going, guys? It's me, Gavin, and today I'm going to be doing a much requested tutorial video on how to make one of these fingerboard parking curbs made out of concrete. So, looks like that, and they're really fun to make. It's a really good fingerboard obstacle, and I think I made mine for just over 20 bucks. So, a lot of people have been wondering how to make it, and yeah, I'm just going to make this video to show you guys how to make one, and yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so I wrote down the materials you're going to need on this paper bag. So for this project, you're going to want some concrete. So this is some Sacrete Fast Patch. So it's fast concrete repair. So you're going to want some of this. And this is a bigger bucket of it, but you can get a smaller bucket for like $7. So go to your local hardware store. You can find some there. And obviously you're going to want to be really careful with the stuff because it sets really quick. And you don't really want to breathe the dust in. So you're also going to want one of these face masks. So you just throw those on and you don't get any of the dust in your lungs. And also you're going to want to use this stuff in like a really open space with some air. I'm going to be doing it in my basement, but you're probably going to want to do this outside. So, alright, so you're going to need some concrete, and you're also going to need a bowl to mix the concrete in. So don't use one of your like mother's nice bowls or something, because it's going to get ruined. So just use a bowl you don't really care about. And you're also going to need a mixing stick. So I got this thing that I used for the last one, so it's kind of all messed up, but you can mix the concrete with this. And yeah, the next thing you're going to need is some tape. So I got some duct tape right here. Any strong holding tape will kind of work. So yeah, you're also going to want some cardboard. So a cereal box would work. I got some Premium Plus crackers. You're also going to want some scissors. So got some scissors right here. You're also going to want one of these sanding blocks so you can get all the rough chunks off once you take it out of the mold. And some fine grit sandpaper. So you're also going to need a ruler. And I'm from Canada, so I measure in centimeters. So if you measure in inches, then you're going to have to go like convert it or whatever. But yeah, if you can find a ruler that measures in centimeters, that will be helpful. And you're also going to need a pen or pencil. Alright, the first step for making this parking block is making your mold. So you're going to need your cardboard, your pen, your ruler, and your tape. And the rest of the stuff you can just set aside for now. Alright, so the mold's going to look like this. It's got the shape of the parking block on this side. And it's just made out of cardboard and tape. So this is the one I used the first time I made a parking block. So I'm going to make another one. And you're just going to cut out your cardboard box. So you got all like the big sections cut out. So yeah, let's get that going. Alright, so now you should have two big pieces of cardboard like this. And you're going to need one of these little pieces of cardboard too. So with your little piece of cardboard, you're going to make two rectangles that are 5 centimeters by 3 centimeters long. So now that you have two 5 by 3 rectangles, you're going to cut them out so you have something that looks kind of like this. So obviously you can make this thing any size you want, but the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to mark 1.8 centimeters down this way on both sides of the piece, and I'm going to have 1.5 centimeters at the top and the middle. So you're going to mark those measurements down, and then cut them out, and then trace them onto the other piece of cardboard so you have two identical pieces. So now you're going to want to cut along those lines on both sides. If you didn't get the measurements right, you're going to want to make sure it's even on both sides, and then you're going to take this piece and then trace it out onto your other piece. Alright, now you should have two identical pieces that look like this, and we're going to put those aside and make the long piece that goes down the middle. So now take your bigger piece of cardboard and cut out a rectangle that's 20 centimeters by 12 centimeters. And the reason I chose 20 centimeters as my length is because it'll fit really nicely onto the top of my quarter pipe. So you can make it any size you want, but I advise not to go over 20 centimeters because the cardboard will bend when you put the concrete in it. So you want it to be sturdy, and you don't want it to be all warped. So try to go with a shorter length, and yeah, I find 20 centimeters works pretty good. Now on both 12 centimeter sides, mark out the center with a pen. So I marked the center of both sides and drew a line down it. So now we're going to mark out where we're going to fold the piece of cardboard, because you're going to take one of these pieces, it's going to go there, and this piece of cardboard is going to fold around it. Then we're going to tape it like that. So yeah, once we're done that, we'll have our mold and we'll be able to pour the concrete in it. So whatever size you made the center piece of your end pieces is what you're going to want to put and fold down on your big piece of cardboard. So kind of lay this piece on the bigger piece of cardboard and line it up so the center line kind of goes down the center of this piece. Then just mark off the two edges. So once you have two little marks on this side, you're going to turn it around and do the same exact thing on the other side. So now you should have your center line and then two lines on either side. So those are the same size as the top of this piece. Now for the sides of this piece, you're going to do the same thing on both sides of those two lines you just made. So you're going to put your piece right there, line it up, and then get the measurement for the side piece. So now that you have your piece marked out, you're going to fold along all these lines except the center line. And yeah, so fold it all inwards. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but you basically want to take this piece and fold it along the lines so it kind of matches the same shape as the parking curb. So the way I explained drawing the lines and folding it was kind of confusing, but basically once you're done folding it, you should have something that looks like this, that has the shape of a parking curb on the end, and you kind of want it to be able to fit this perfectly in the end when you fold it up. Alright, so you're going to take your duct tape and just peel out a strip, tear it off, and just place it with the sticky side up, just kind of sitting on your table. That's like stuck to my fingers. Okay, there you go. So you're going to put this piece right on top of the duct tape, leaving some room at the top. Just place it right on top like that. Hopefully you can see that. So it's just sticking right on top. And you're going to take this piece and try to place it over top and line up all the sides with the sides on your end piece. So it kind of sticks to the duct tape, and you can fold it around so it fits. And there we go. So now that you have the ends stuck to it, you're going to want to fold this duct tape up so it sticks to your longer piece, just like that, on both sides. Alright, so once you're done taping, your mold should look like this. So you got the tape on the end, and I'm going to put more tape on there just to make sure it's not like going anywhere. Yeah, I'm going to take your other piece and put it on the other side, and just make sure it's really sturdy and it's not going to fall apart. And yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I'll be ready to put the concrete in it. Alright, so I taped the hell out of this thing, and it doesn't look pretty, but it will work. And it does look like it's bulging, but the way we're going to do it is when we put the concrete inside, we're going to put two flat things like right beside it so it holds it together. And so when it dries, it doesn't dry all curvy. So yeah, this is the hardest part of this project for sure. So if you got this part down, then the rest will be really easy. So yeah, I think it's looking good, and I'm going to head downstairs to my basement and try to get the concrete in this thing. Alright, so I'm in my basement, and I'm ready to mix the concrete. And I got some cardboard down, because I don't want to mess up the table. I got my mold, and I got my concrete bucket with some concrete in the bottom. So I just have a little bit of concrete powder in the bottom, and you don't really want to get the stuff on your hands, and you definitely don't want to breathe it in, so I got a mask, and also got a cup of water. So you're probably not going to use all the water or the concrete, but we're just going to keep adding water to get the proper consistency. One more thing is you're going to want some clothes that you don't mind messing up. I love this fashion shirt, but it kind of got stained while I was eating some popcorn, so yeah, I don't really mind if I mess it up. So yeah, we're going to start mixing the concrete, and basically you don't want too much in the bottom there. This much should do, and you're not going to use all of it, so it's fine. And you're just going to add enough water, just a little bit at a time, and you're just going to add it till it gets to like kind of a soupy, watery mixture, and then yeah, you're going to pour it in. So I'm going to start adding the water in, and stick my mask on, and yeah, here we go. So I'm going to put a little in to start out. Start mixing it around. I feel like I'm on Breaking Bad or something. Alright, so I added a bit more water in, and I'm just going to keep mixing it until I get that perfect consistency. And you got to be really careful with this stuff because it sets really quick. So if you leave it for too long, it's going to dry, and then your whole batch of concrete is going to go to waste. So you got to be really quick and make sure you mix it really well. Alright, so I got it mixed, and it's kind of hard to tell you the consistency, but just imagine like you're going to Dairy Queen and you got a milkshake, and that's kind of how you want it. Also, you don't want any big chunks in there. You want it to be really smooth. Yeah, once you have that, you want to go really quick, try to get it into your mold. You're going to want to prop your mold up against something, so I got this shoebox here, and I'm just going to put the mold up against it, and you're going to pour the concrete into the mold, and it depends on how high you want your parking block to be, but just fill it up to the appropriate level, and yeah, just watch you don't spill it. So yeah, here we go. Alright, so I poured the concrete in the mold, and I kind of dripped it a little, but it's not that big of a deal. You just want to, once you got it in there, you want to kind of slam it down gently onto the table, and just make sure all the concrete gets really smooth inside. It's kind of hard to show you without it tipping over, but just make sure it's smooth inside there and everything's leveled out. Alright, I put the mold in between two sets of heavy tiles, and this makes sure that the mold isn't going to tip over and that the lines are going to be straight. So you just got to put it in between two heavy things like this, and yeah, just leave it for at least 24 hours to let it dry. So the next day your mold should look something like this, and this is the one I did before. You're just going to pop open the edges and carefully take out the parking block, and obviously it's going to be kind of rough, but you're just going to take your sanding block and take off the rough edges, and you can take your lighter sandpaper and just rub it on it, make sure it's level on the bottom. And yeah, it should be smooth then. Just throw some wax on it, put some non-sliders, and yeah, you should have a parking block. So obviously you might not get it first try. It's kind of tricky to work with concrete, so if you don't get it the first time, just keep on trying, and you should end up eventually with a parking block that looks something like this. And yeah, you can just fingerboard on it, and it's a pretty good realistic obstacle. So yeah, hopefully this video helped you guys out, and hopefully you have some fun making one of these. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Thanks so much for the support. See you later.